Hello, everybody. Here we are live and making adjustments as we go, dealing with Wi-Fi issues. How you doing, Rob?
Doing well, Russ. Doing wonderful today. How about you?
I am awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
You
So
are
glad
awesome.
to,
Hey,
well,
you had a great mustache back in the day.
you saw pictures of me back in the day.
Yeah, on your Instagram story or your Facebook story. I saw a
Oh,
picture of you with a big orange mustache.
well, I still have a big mustache. It's just gray now, so you don't see it
Yeah.
as much.
It's connected to some other hair too.
There you go.
It's
Yes,
it's
I've
it's
added.
not a mustache anymore, Russ.
Yes, actually, when Kyla was young, my daughter, for those of you who are listening, this was all red. I grew out a beard. She was the first reason I ever grew a beard when,
Really?
because she had red hair and because my wife and I were blonde, everybody kept asking me, where does the red come from? So I thought, I'm just going to grow a beard and then they'll quit asking. And no, they kept asking anyway.
It's black.
They
What
kept
do you mean, where's
asking
the
anyway.
mustache?
Yes. Now I'm just, my wife calls it my Santa beard as it grows out now. Anyway, so how are you doing today, Rob? Day going well? I guess that's a
Finally
yes.
got
Or
back to
have
the gym. It is a yes. Can you hear me okay? I know the Wi-Fi is not working here, so I'm having to go without Wi-Fi, so it might be a little bit choppy.
yeah, I hear you now. We did lose you, but you're back.
Okay. But yes, I'm doing good. So I'll try
Good.
not to go into a really long story today in case you miss an important detail.
That's all good. That's all good. Well, hey, I'm going to say hi to a few people. We've got some people joining the party this morning. So glad to see that. We have my good friend Usama is here from Cyprus to say, hey, let's
Let's
go.
go.
Woo! And he is here. We just had with Ingrid
Woo.
today. She's doing a boot camp. And we actually, a bunch of us were at her boot camp on LinkedIn today. And so our guest, Ingrid Van Roy, who's an amazing person, amazing woman of God, she is here with us today. And all of these friends, or a lot of them, were with us today. Of course, Usama says, whoop, whoop. He's paging some other people into the room. Mr. Tim Sohn back in Pennsylvania, sending the love. There he is to everybody out there. Tim is a wonderful, wonderful man, good friend. Shout out to God. Yes, definitely shout out to God. Definitely. And Chrislyn, great to see you. Met her for the first time today at the boot camp. So glad to have you here. My friend Alex from Colorado, Alex Chambers is here. Thanks so much for jumping in today, Alex. Great to see you. Got a few more. Liz is here in the midst of her studies. She is here, and Liz is coming to us from back east as well. Yes. Thanks, Tim. Shout out to the mustache. Yeah, people saying hi to each other in the chat. This is what I love about these shows is everybody gets to interact and really build community, which we're talking about in the chat as we're talking faith, community, and hope. Community is happening as we chat, and Tim's giving us somebody the mic drop. I don't know. We got a whole bunch of mic drops going on here. Then we have a goat drop. Yes, that is definitely for Liz. That is definitely for Liz. You have to know Liz and the whole screaming goat thing on that one. So, oh my goodness, they are just rolling in the comments today. We have a busy, busy room. Everybody's saying hi. And finally, we're going to end with Usama sending the love. There we go. So I should have brought Inger in for that because last time I was on her show, I think we spent an hour and a half saying hi to everybody in the comments.
Wow.
We had a good time. But hey, so Rob, real quickly, just wanted to give you a moment to say hey to everybody that doesn't know you, because looks like pretty much everybody in the room knows who I am.
Yeah.
But Rob, you are an amazing man of God, a good friend. Tell everybody what you do and why you're here today.
Yeah, I'm a pastor at Family Life Church in West Salem. My wife and I moved here about a year and a half ago, and we're just enjoying the Pacific Northwest, and just really hoping to be a part of creating an authentic community as we walk a faith journey together. That's kind of the mission of our church, and we're seeing some incredible things happen in our church and in the West Salem community as people are just authentic and they're real, and they're real about their stories and their struggles and the ups and downs of life. And we know that God made them, and God knows how to help them.
Yes.
And part of God's solution for us and the things we go through in life is each other. God wants a community. He doesn't want just isolated individual people. That's what the devil wants. He wants to isolate people. He wants them alone with their own thoughts and their own ideas and their own feelings, not sharing them with anybody else. God wants a community, authentic community, where we know each other, where we can be honest with each other, and we can help each other.
Right.
That's how God's spirit moves most powerfully, is in community.
Yep. Well, let me jump in and just say you are so right, because we talk a lot of time. A lot of the people here are involved in live streaming on LinkedIn, and Tim and Nancy started a thing called Radiating Real, and it's just about real, authentic community, meeting people where they are, which is what God wants to do. He wants to meet people. He wants us to meet people where they are too. Wants us to build that community, and people do deal with, through this whole pandemic, people have been dealing with isolation and all kinds of things going on. And so there's been a rise in anxiety and depression and things going on because of where people are at. So that's why we really want to promote building community. And a great person in that community who we're going to bring in right now is Mrs. Inger Van Roy in the house. Woohoo! Hey, Inger. Oh, you did it to me
I
again.
know. I'm
Oh,
on
there you
mute.
go.
Hello, 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 Rob. Hello, Russ.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
You're
Thanks for
so
being
welcome.
here.
Rob was reading all about you this morning, and
I did.
I know all about the great things you've done. But why don't you just give us a little snapshot? I loved your whole thing about basically what you had sent us about the reason where you came from, and getting into entrepreneurial work in your own business, coming out of the corporate world and all that you went through, and really trusting God. So I'm not going to say any more. Tell everybody who you are and more about you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Inger, and I am the CEO and founder of We Got This Admin. I'm an executive administrative consultant and business coach. And Liz says I'm a great connector. Thank you, Liz. I'm happy to be here. Just a little bit about my journey is I love people. I always have, and I've always strived to make a positive impact on the lives of others. Um, and as a result of my love for people, I um, I just my career found me. I studied IT, but I became an executive assistant because, like as I said, because of my love for people. And I was actually I was stuck in the corporate world for almost 20 years because that became my comfort zone. During that period of time, I really wanted to be an entrepreneur and I felt a calling to do that, but I was so afraid of failing until last year, where I just really felt convicted by God that I was being like Jonah. And instead of going to Nineveh, I was going to Tarshish. And because of that conviction, I stopped and decided to become an entrepreneur. And I can truly say that it is a calling on my life. And I'm only here because of that faith that I have to take a step into every single day.
Well, you started. I mean, you came originally from South Africa,
Yeah,
and now you're in Toronto, Canada.
that's right.
Okay, I got that right. And so you have, really, you've done a lot of movement in your life from one country to another, and
Mhm.
all the things you do, and then from one really industry, going from corporate into doing things on your own. But what I love about you is how you've listened to what God has had for your life, how you've really stayed true to yourself and authentic to yourself, and because of that, you've really been able to build a community pretty quickly.
Yes, I actually have. It's been a whirlwind of a year, to be honest with you, because I really in January of this year, God, I basically God told me that I needed to utilize LinkedIn in a better way. And so I made the decision that on February 1st, I'm going to do that. I'll start. And when I started, so much has happened in this past year. Like it, to me, when I look at it, it's crazy. So much has happened. I've seen so much growth. Um, I really have grown so much, not just in my faith, but in my physical walk. I daily walk every day. It of course we all face trials. It's not all a bed of roses, but because I take a step in faith every single day out of my comfort zone, the growth is happening for me.
So, Rob,
Yes.
jump in.
Well, you talked about fear, and
Mhm.
I think any person who's, well, entrepreneurship for sure, considering that, or anybody who's just trying to follow God's calling and leading in their life.
Yeah.
It's interesting that God doesn't usually call you to do things that are comfortable and easy. That's pretty much how that works. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit more about just your battle with fear and how you overcame that.
It took a long time. I because for me, success never looked like entrepreneurship. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, my friends and family, I didn't have anybody that was an entrepreneur in my community. My parents both came from the corporate world. My father was an educator, my mom was an accountant. So, entrepreneurship was definitely not something that anybody really encouraged me towards because there's no safety net, right?
Yeah.
Um, so when I actually decided to take that step, I had to say that I have to fully rely on God.
Mm.
He's my safety net, and
Yeah. Yeah.
knowing that He is the one that's pushing me in this direction and that's aligning me for certain things. It just helps me to be able to stand in that.
So it sounds like other things were your safety net
Yes.
previously.
Yes. As
Fall
somebody
back
that
on
comes from the
if
corporate
things
world,
didn't work out, and in this process, God kind of became your safety net. Kind of, it was all
yes,
on Him in a way.
yes, absolutely. When you're in the corporate world, you kind of rely on that monthly income that's gonna come, right? Like, regardless of anything, you will still earn that salary at the end of the month. But when you become an entrepreneur, it's difficult in the sense that you have no clue if
Yeah.
you're gonna make ends meet at the end of the month, right? So it really has to be a walk in faith every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what I love about you, Inger, is that you, from the time we've met, you're very true to yourself. And I know that I was encouraging you because I've seen your I hate video several times, and I was encouraging you to get out there along with other people, to really take the step out. What I love is though you're willing to trust God and move and step forward and do things, and what an impact that's we can have today. Like Rob said, that our real
Yes.
theme of family life is to build authentic community as we walk this faith journey together. Because life is a journey, right? We are
Yeah.
constantly on a journey, growing and moving and
Mhm.
building, and we have to be able to have community around us because yes, God is always there for us, but we need people around us too. We need that authentic community, and people really want, as you and I have found out in this past year and a half, we have found out that people really are looking for authenticity. I mean, we
Yes.
may not all believe exactly the same. We may not all agree on everything, but you know what? There we have so many things in common, so
Yeah.
much more common ground. And when we're authentically who we are, we can have that conversation with others, right?
Yes, absolutely. When you show up authentically, when you show vulnerability in the things that you say and the way that you show up online, the vulnerability really allows people to connect with you on a deeper level. It allows them to see you as a person, to see you, flaws and all, and to know you as a person. Yes, radiating real time. Exactly.
Well, you know what I loved about that whole movement with Nancy and Tim, and Tim has had his own battles that
Yeah.
he's had some super great news lately that he put out there. Being cancer free from the last testing, which is awesome. We love you, Tim. God has definitely touched his life, and he and I have really built a great friendship and communicate via text or phone pretty much every morning.
That's all.
Um, but again, it's just a matter of, like he says, showing up. Tim's like
Mhm.
laying it out there, being vulnerable.
Yes.
As Usama says, showing some love. And,
Yeah.
the whole thing is with this community is that's what people get. People that are willing to show up. They're willing to listen to each other, willing to be part of that community together.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, networking or growing your community is all about giving, right? Give, give, and when you're done with that, give some more.
Yeah. And then things like this happen where we have wonderful friends from South Africa,
Yeah,
friends from Cyprus, friends from Toronto, Canada, friends from East Coast, all over the US. I mean, it's just a
right.
matter of, and that's one thing that, we're really doing right now is we're trying to build authentic communities so people that
Yes.
want to walk the faith journey together can, or people that have questions about their faith journey can come vulnerable,
Mhm.
authentic, and they can ask those questions, right, Rob?
Yes.
That is right, Russ. Yeah, that's what we're all about. And vulnerability is hard. It's a process. It's it's not easy. It takes time, and
Yes.
that's why it's a journey. It's a journey of walking together, getting to know each other gradually over time, and we believe that God's creating something beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I definitely believe that. And, I mean, Ingrid, part of your story, I mean, you came out of some things that people deal with. You came out of some bullying issues and
Mhm.
some low self-esteem issues.
Yeah.
And, when did God really move into your life and help you overcome those things? Because I know that you're doing amazing things now. I mean, you've definitely overcome, at least on what I see from you as my friend. You definitely are overcoming for sure.
It's not a matter of when, really. Like, it's not one specific instance. It's just been, a constant reminder that even though there are difficulties in life, there's still God, right? And He just keeps on carrying us through each and every one, every obstacle. It just reminds me of, the footprints in the sand, right? When we see that one set of footprints, it's not because God isn't there or that He's forsaken us. It's because He's carrying us through it.
Yeah. Well, and we have all had instances where we have dealt with that. We've all had
Mhm.
instances where we have had God carrying us in our lives because it's sometimes life can be a struggle, right? But
Yeah.
as I like to always say, when we're intentional and when we're purposeful, we can live the life we choose when we put ourselves out there and we realize that yes, we can affect what other people do to us, but we can affect what we
Yes.
do from there. Like I love the quote, life happens and then you choose, right?
Yes.
Life is coming at us and then we choose every day.
Yes, absolutely. I love what you said there, because there's always going to be something that affects you, that could affect you, right? But you choose. You choose whether you're like my mom always said when I was growing up, like I remember this always. It is you choose whether you allow something to make you bitter or better. You choose.
That's good.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, that might preach, man. Actually,
It might.
this week, this weekend, Rob had a great message, and he was, really nowadays we need people like we talk about, Inger. We need more love and kindness. We have Elizabeth here, who's the Kindness Incorporator. We need more love and kindness, and we need more peace between people, all
Yeah.
countries, all ethnicities, all walks of life, everything going on. And it was interesting because Rob was talking this weekend, and we're going to have to use this for something in the future, but he talked about being a peacemaker, not a peace faker. And
Wow.
I thought that was really good. I love that. In fact, I obviously was listening to his message because I remember that. But peacemaker, not a peace faker. And I thought, isn't that true? People really want authentic people that aren't faking it,
Yes.
but are really doing it, right? Really.
Yeah, and peace can be hard work. There's certain people like you, Russ. You're pretty easy to be at peace with. I don't think you and I have ever been upset with each other. But like the situation you're talking about, Ingrid, with bullying, there's a lot of people in the world that are just very selfish and
Yeah.
and I think we've all experienced that to some level and some degree. And some people, it's very hard to be at peace with. And so sometimes we just fake it.
Yes.
And we have inauthentic relationships, and the worst thing is when we kind of lose our sense of self and who we are, and we're trying to be somebody that maybe other people will accept or approve of, and
Yeah.
we hide the real us because we're constantly trying to create something fake that people will accept. And
Yeah.
and man, we our dream and our desire is to create a community where people don't feel like they have to do that, where they feel like they can be at peace, they can be themselves, and we can have healthy relationships and conflict resolution and conversations and discussions and differences. The love of God is a powerful thing, and human love is not that powerful. My love is very selfish, and I love people who do nice things for me and make me feel good. But the love of God, when it fills my heart, I'm able to love everybody, even people who are difficult to love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it's one thing again that you said, Rob, that I want to really point out, and that is that it's tough on our own. We need help. We need God's help, number one, but we also need help from our community, and that's where building authentic community where people can, like you said, can really be vulnerable and really talk about things. And Tim has been doing some amazing things with his shows on cancer and being real vulnerable about his life and all this going on there. And I think that, Inger, you were very vulnerable and you laid things out there with what you went through in your past. We've all had struggles, I've had my time going through college where I was lost and away from God and really needed to get things back together and really get focused and get God.
Is that when you grew the mustache?
That's when I grew the mustache. Actually, I waited to grow the mustache.
Was that the starting point? Is that what started to turn it around?
Oh, I guess maybe it was. Yeah. So yes, the mustache fell in there somewhere. I don't think I even shaved until I actually grew a mustache. So there you go. Took a while, but anyway. But no, I just think that it's just really important. Now you've totally thrown me off track, Rob. I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. So there. So jump in, Rob. Say something. You've thrown me off.
I just think that you can't underestimate the power of a good mustache.
There you go.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things in life that we just will never be able to overcome until we have a good mustache, like Russ used to have.
Like Russ used to have, yes. Yeah. Well, it's just all gray now.
So, Russ, you were speaking about being vulnerable.
Thanks, Inger. Get us back on track. There you go. Yes. Oh, you go ahead. Take it, Inger. Take it away. Come on.
No, my stance on this is it's so important to grow a community around you that um, they can support, we can all support one another, right? Um, I speak about Ubuntu all the time, and what Ubuntu means is I am who I am because of who we all are. And so the focus is on community. Building that community and vulnerability allows you to do that because it allows people to connect with you on more than just a superficial level, right? So community is so important. Having those people around you on who you can depend and from who you can learn things, right? We all have our own superpowers. I have a community of friends that we go live together. We have a show called Live with Five, but like the reason why we're doing it is because we all have something to bring to the table and to share with others, to serve one another. And that's so important because you cannot live your life on your own. No man is an island.
That's so true. I know I'm one of those people that wishes that was true sometimes. I wish I could live by myself on an island or maybe in a house up on a hill somewhere. And but I would go crazy. I would become so weird, and I would
Too late.
become mentally ill. I mean, I'm already a little bit mentally ill, but I would be severely mentally ill. It's the people around me. It's my wife. It's my children. It's my friends like Russ. The people around me really help me become the person God's created me to be. And there's no other way to do that. You can read good books, and that's good. You can, think good thoughts, but we are not. You said it so well. We can't do this life alone. It's just we're not made that way. God didn't make us that way. He said it's not good for man to be alone, and so He created a woman so that they could create more people.
Yep. Well, it's true. And the great people that we have in the comments today, the good friends that are here,
Yes.
it's such a great community, makes me a better person, lifts me up by, loving and helping and serving each other. And, these are principles that God laid out for us to help and serve one another, to love and just make each other better. And that is what community is all about. And that's how we're able to, again, we don't all always agree, but what I love about this beautiful online community that Inger, you and I have been able to be part of is that we are able to have conversations. We're able to focus on the commonalities, and we're
Yeah.
able to move in the right direction. And that's what's so important. I mean, that is where God meets people. He meets them where they are. We're
Mhm.
not trying to change a bunch of people. That God is trying to
Yeah.
meet you, and God does the work.
Yeah.
But it's
So
just
true.
it's just amazing. So before we wrap things up, because we're at the end of our time here, I wanted to, Inger, have you give last word here and remind everybody how they get in touch with you, how they add you to their community. And then Rob's going to give a little information on how to just be a little bit more involved in our community, if that's something people would like to do, and just stay connected to him and all that's going on. So Inger, go ahead.
Okay. I'd just like to highlight one of my favorite African proverbs, actually, which states that if you want to go far, go alone. Sorry, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you
Mm,
want to go far, go together.
I like that.
That's so important because, right, like we can all help to build each other up and to just to go to travel that distance with one another. So thank you for having me, Russ and Rob. It's been an honor, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn via my name. My name is Inge van Roy, and that's the name of my profile as well. So thank you.
Thank you
Perfect.
so much for being here.
My pleasure.
So Inger, hang tight. I'm going to send you out. Rob and I are going to wrap things up. We'll talk to you in just a moment. So let me get this all back so we can see Rob. There he is.
Here
You're
I am.
frozen. You're
Still here.
frozen figures. You're frozen with a smile. That's good. So I can hear you, but yes. No, I appreciate you, Rob, so much. I appreciate what you're all about. I think that's one thing that I want to really put out there to everybody, is that, you know, we love community building because that's what God is all about. And we love people. And no matter where you are watching, there are amazing things happening within good, positive communities. And right here today, so many good things going on. Rob, let everybody know a little bit more about how they can connect with us and how we're having our Thursday night online gatherings if they want to check that out.
Yeah, this Thursday night. I don't know if you can post a link or whatnot, Russ, but this Thursday night we have a church that we started just a couple months ago. That's fully digital. It's not a physical church. It's a church to connect people to God, to His love, and to each other through the digital community. This Thursday night, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite Christmas movies, It's a Wonderful Life, because it deals with some very dark topics, I think, in a very interesting, creative way. And so I'm going to share just some personal things that I battled in my faith journey, and I think there's some things in that movie I reflect back on my journey and how God has helped me in moments where, I didn't want to live anymore, or moments where I felt very discouraged or down or depressed. That movie has some very interesting things, and we're going to bring out some of that. So that's what we're talking about this Thursday night. But every Thursday night at 7:00, it's just an opportunity for us to connect. We have a digital auditorium you can sit in and see other people. We have a digital lobby. There's all sorts of things to make it feel like a real community.
What I love about it too, it's very short. It's 7 o'clock. We're done well under a half an hour, and people get a chance to talk more if they want. I know for some of you, time zones that makes it more difficult, but just spread the word. And yes, the information will be in the comments, as well as anybody who's connected to me on social media. All of that information is there as well. But I'll make sure to put that in the comments. And Liz, it's 7 p.m. PST, Pacific time. So 7 p.m. Pacific time. And notice that Carl is here with us. We were able to talk to Carl a couple weeks ago. And so he is a
Hey,
great
Carl.
man of God. Hey, I wanted to say too that our next one, we're every 2 weeks on Let's Talk, but next we're going to skip a week because of the holidays. So the next one will be January 3rd. These are always at noon Pacific time every 2 weeks, but it'll be picking it up in the new year on January 3rd. So look for that. We're going to have great guests. Already have people lined up. And so super excited about that coming up here in January. Appreciate everybody who's here today. And I know Rob does too. And I just wanted to say, God bless each one of you. Blessings to all of you. As you watch this trailer, it's going to give a little information on the digital church, and I will make sure that's in the comments with links so you can go directly to that on Thursday night. Check it out. You can stay anonymous. You can stay in the background and just watch, or you can come out. I am the host for those of you who are interested. So I will be there, and so you can talk with me as well. And we have a great time building community. So God bless each one of you. We'll see you next time.